All right, it was just Monday that we told you about a brutal attack in Portland, Oregon. A 65-year-old woman allegedly sexually assaulted by an illegal immigrant deported from the U.S. 20 times. Tragically, a similar case occurring in Washington state. A 19-year-old woman found bloodied, unable to talk, with a broken jaw and a broken nose after an alleged rape. The suspect, a 23-year-old, brought to this country illegally as a child. Tonight, the town of Burien is taking matters into its own hands, fighting to put a referendum on this November's ballot to drop its sanctuary city status. Here now is Katie Pavlich, news editor at townhall.com and a Fox News contributor, of course, and Francisco Hernandez, an immigration attorney. I thought this was interesting, Katie. We've been talking about sanctuary cities for quite a while. Of course, there are crimes that happen all across the country with all sorts of suspects and those who are then eventually convicted. This issue of sanctuary cities has in some ways felt like it's being pushed between Washington and the cities, but now you have citizens who are actually saying, we want our city to do something different. Do you see that as sort of a sea change moment?
Well, and it's a really basic concept. We want to know who is in our city. Are they here legally, and are they going to be accountable for their actions? As we've reported on this network and elsewhere, these are not isolated incidents of these heinous, horrible crimes happening in sanctuary cities across the country. They're not happening in droves in cities that don't allow for sanctuary city policies. And the problem is that illegal aliens who've been deported before come back and they're emboldened by sanctuary city policies because they know that they're not going to be handed over to ICE to be held accountable for their crimes. And so it's an issue that people are paying attention to. It's an issue that people are going to be voting on. And I'm glad to see in this case that people are getting involved and telling your city council, we no longer want this to be a place where criminals are able to get away with things like this.
Francisco, how does somebody defend, at least in the case in Oregon, an illegal immigrant deported 20 times? I mean, is the breakdown on our end as well?
Well, look, if a person's been deported 20 times, about the second or third time, they ought to be federally prosecuted for illegal reentry after deportation. But you're talking about two different things. There is no such thing as a sanctuary city. A city cannot oppose the federal government from picking up at the jail. The city cannot say we're not going to turn over somebody to ICE. It is impossible. It's federal preemption clause. The federal law prevails, and we do it every day with drug dealers or any person that the federal government wants to prosecute that's in any jail in the country. The difference is that we have this political phantom. Everybody's afraid of it, but nobody can touch it simply because Congress won't act. Criminals don't flock to a sanctuary city. A city cannot protect anybody. They're not going to flock to commit crimes in something that's called a sanctuary city. It needs to be acted on by Congress. Get on with immigration reform. You just got through talking about reforming legal immigration. We can't even get illegal immigration right, and we can't even get Congress to act on illegal immigration. Now they want to go that way?
But Katie, I want you to respond to that, including the fact that, we are seeing action now. Like, there is action from the Trump administration pushing forward. There is action in the courts, although that is slow. But now you see citizens actually saying, we don't want to have this arrangement. We do want to cooperate with ICE. And you had Charlie Baker, the governor of Massachusetts, yesterday introducing legislation there saying that I want and give permission to our local authorities to work with ICE.
Well,
but they don't need permission.
Francisco made the argument that these cities are not, it's illegal for them not to turn over people to ICE, but that's exactly the argument that the Justice Department has been making, is that these sanctuary cities across the country have been breaking the law and not turning over criminals who, by the way, on the record, in court documents, including the case with Kate Steinle, the illegal alien in that case who was charged with murder, admitted, I came to San Francisco after being deported because it's a sanctuary city. They admit this in their own court documents.
He was transferred from LA County Jail with an immigration hold for minor traffic violations in San Francisco. That's absolutely
not true. And they let him out, and they protected him in San Francisco for months.
They could have picked him up. No, ICE doesn't need the city's permission to open the jail cell.
The city doesn't help them when they have them in their custody, and therefore they go out and commit crimes before ICE can get in and arrest them.
I'll tell you what.
ICE doesn't need the help.
This is an issue. I appreciate both of you. You're passionate, and there's a lot of issues. Obviously, there needs to be a lot of reform, and I do think that the courts should weigh in quickly to help us resolve this. Okay, Katie and Francisco, thanks so much.